Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Derek Talks Real Estate, episode 13. Today is June 18th, and we're going to talk about the AVMs, or the Automated Value Model. Um, Coming to you live today, as usual, from the headquarters of Derek Talks Real Estate in Locust, North Carolina, in the main studio. In other words, my office. Um, and we're just going to kind of have a quick chat, talk about the AVMs and what it means, what they are, and why they're almost always wrong. All right. Now, there's nothing wrong with using an AVM to kind of give you a brief idea of what your home may be worth on the market. Um, I would say if you are not seriously considering selling your home and you just kind of want to glance and see what they say your home is worth, nothing wrong with that. But if you really want to get a true idea, you either number one need to get it appraised, or number two, reach out to a trusted realtor and ask them to do a quick CMA or a CMA on your property, or comparative market analysis, where you're going to actually put some human touch on it. Now, I will tell you that if you call me up and give me your address and say, hey, can you do a quick comparative market analysis on my property? I may have around the same accuracy as an AVM if I don't come look at your house. There's too many variables that when you take the human aspect out, we're not able to figure out the proper market pricing for your home. That's why when you ask somebody how much your house is worth or what you should put it on the market for, any realtor that is doing their job is going to ask to come visit your home, because there are things that we cannot see, touch, smell, or hear via a computer. And that's where the AVM models sometimes have some issues. Now, AVM, Automated Value Model. Basically, what this is someone writes a program, and they turn around and say, okay, we're going to say that based on everything we see, your home is worth this much. Okay. Um, it's going to take all the houses from around the area. It's going to throw them into um, a computer program, algorithm, whatever it may be, and it's going to spit out a price. And it's going to say, this is your whatever. Now, most people, when they think of AVMs, Zestimate is what pops into your head. Now, Zillow, their AVM can sometimes be right, but there's an old joke that goes around. This is, what does the A in Zillow stand for? And that's accuracy. You can literally find something on Google. You can type in CEO of Zillow's home, and it'll show you where Zillow did an estimate for his home that he was selling and how much higher that estimate was than what they actually sold for. Um, Zillow used their estimate years ago to purchase all the houses when they were in the home purchasing world, and it about put them out of business. Um, so understand that their estimate can be, or it used to be, 90% of the time it was wrong. I think they've done a better job here recently of reprogramming things to make it somewhat closer and proper market pricing. But again, they're not all the way correct. To give you an idea of how each different valuation model can view things, I put my house in several of them and ran it to see what it was saying my property would sell for, or what I could put it on the market for. And I would tell you straight up, my house, current condition, I'd probably put it on the market for between 375 and 4. Um, and that's taking current market into account and things like that. Um, I've got a couple of things I could change around here that if I did, I'd pop it to 430, 425, 430. But right now, I'm too busy trying to sell people's houses to worry about fixing mine up in a couple of spots or updating a couple of things. Um, but Zillow put me on at 405, Homes.com 405, Trulia 405. So again, I'd say I'm somewhere 375 to 390. So those aren't bad. Redfin, very conservative, had us at 377. Realtor.com had us at 437. That's excessively high. And the problem we run into as realtors is we'll go into someone's house and they say, oh, well, Realtor.com or Zillow or Redfin said my home is worth this. And they don't take into account that those are strictly algorithms that they're pulling tax values, current houses that are on the market, homes that have just sold, putting them into a program and spitting out a number. Now, the one that was really off was Realist, which is a valuation model we use through the multiple listing service and the Realist tax part. And they had my home at 461. Shoot, you come give me $461,000, I'm selling to you today. I'm not getting that for my house. The problem we also run into is we have some realtors that they'll just take that valuation model and that's what they're going to tell you your home is worth. They don't put the human effort into determining the market pricing of your home. So, what are the things that I look at that the AVM does not take into account? So now I'm looking at the same houses they are majority of the time. I will, if you're in a ranch house, I'm only going to look at ranches. If you're a 2,000 square foot house, I'm going to look at houses 1750 to 2250 square foot. Unless there's nothing there like that, then I'm going to have to look at 2 stories, or I'm going to have to look at smaller or larger and do a bunch of math. Um, I'm going to look at lot size, right? So, for example, my home is a 2,300 square foot ranch with 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2 car garage, and I'm on a 1 acre lot. My neighbor to the left of me is a 1,300 square foot house on a 1/2 acre lot. It is a ranch. but I can't really take those two houses and compare them, right? Because there's so many differences in physical aspects and attributes of those houses. Now, the neighbor behind me has a ranch that is about the same size. Their lot is a little smaller than mine, but they're on a cul-de-sac and I sit on a main road, right? So, again, those are things that if I was doing a comparable market analysis, I would have to look at their home, my home, and those things into account. The AVMs do not. The AVMs strictly say, oh, these houses match up in this category, put them in, spit out a number. Um, so those are some of the things that I first look at without seeing the home is I'm going to be able to look at lot size, type of home. I can do all that online. Now, when I come out to the house, if you remember earlier, I said there are things that I can't see, smell, hear, things like that. So when you get out to a house, what are some of the things we look for? Well, I'm going to look at condition. I'm going to look at deferred maintenance. I'm going to look at things that may be added to the home that the AVM is not aware of. Do we have updated finishes? Do we have updated touches? Has the home recently been remodeled? What kind of flooring do we have? What kind of countertops do we have? Are there any major red flags that I need to look at settling? Um, how old are the systems? How old's the roof? How old's the HVAC? Does the home have any outdoor living? Is the yard fenced in? Yard not fenced in? Believe it or not, we're going to look at what your neighbors' homes look like. That can have a huge effect on how much your house is worth. You can come in and put in all the touches on your home, make everything perfect 2026 HGTV ready, and live beside a junkyard, and it's going to affect the value or the worth, the market price of your home. Does your home, like I said, the outdoor living, what do we got there? Just so you know, pools are not going to add a ton of value to your home or a ton of market price to your home. Um, Pools, the value you get out of those is the enjoyment that you had while you had the pool. Just quite honestly, they do not add a lot when it comes to market price or different things like that. Uh, Smell. What kind of smells are in the area? What kind of smells are in your house? Uh, you know, do you have animal smells in your home? Let's face it, even if your dogs are the cleanest dogs in the world, chances are your home is going to have that animal smell that if someone who doesn't have animals walks into your home, they're gonna notice it. Um, Cats can be one of the worst things, especially if you don't empty your litter box. Have you smoked in the home? Have you used a lot of spices in your cooking in your home so you have a lingering smell of different spices? I have been in some homes where the amount of spice hanging around in the air literally burned my eyes. Um, so you have to take those things into account. Here, again, I'm on a main road. Someone may not like sitting in the living room and hearing trucks go by or cars go by. We're honestly used to it. We've been here 4 years. It doesn't bother us. The only times is sometimes we'll be on the back deck and you've got some of the kids with the Mustangs or the Civics or the loud cars that either they've put the muffler amplifiers on, or we got one kid around here that loves to backfire his car, um, or play their music real loud. So that I'm going to hear sitting on my back deck or sitting in my living room. Whereas my neighbor who is on the cul-de-sac back behind me, they may not hear that, or not going to hear it as much. Um, we've lost some of our buffer from the road, honestly, since we moved in. We had a huge buffer that kind of separated one of the roads from us that has been taken out because of construction. Somebody took all those trees and knocked them down and put a house up. So we've lost a lot of that buffer. Um, I don't know if you can hear the truck going by right now, but they added a four-way stop right down the road from us. Literally 300 yards, if that, from the home. So sometimes when a truck will start driving, we hear the truck going through the gears. So those are things that you have to take into account. Are you near an airport? Are you near major construction? So those are the things I say, things that you can't see, smell, hear, that I need to come out and see your home to help determine. So the main thing that I would say you need to take away from this today is automated value models are really good for starting a starting point for saying, okay, my home is probably worth about this. I would say go 5% below or above what the AVM is telling you. And then to fill that gap in, get a realtor out to take a look. Now, sometimes that gap's going to be even larger because you could have the AVM, which has not caught up to market conditions, right? Um, Believe it or not, we had a time where the AVMs, a lot of them were way too low. So people would call us out thinking we're going to come and tell them their home is worth 350, and we're sitting there going, no, your home's worth 380, 390. Or that's what I would put on the market for. And they would be like, whoa, no way. Yeah. So you put it on the market, they think you're crazy, and they're under contract for that number you told them in a couple of days, and they're shocked. They're ecstatic. I have a family I'm working with right now. Hopefully, we'll be signing their paperwork today or tomorrow. That their AVM shows them as being close to $400,000. Houses in their neighborhood are selling for 335, 340. They're having a hard time uh, accepting that. Um, they're wanting to go on the market for that price point. But when I sit here and show them house after house after house that's sitting on the market in their neighborhood for over a year that is around that AVM model, I, in good conscience, cannot list that house for that price. I'll pass because it's not going to sell. And they are reaching out to me because they need to sell. They're moving to another state. They already have a house under contract. So I need to do everything I can to get that home sold quickly. So to do that, we need to price it where the market is telling us. And they're having a hard time because they bought the house a little over a year ago. Um, and they paid what that higher number was. And that's why that number is up there now. Um, because a little over a year ago, houses in their market were selling for more, but that's how much the prices have dropped in their market. So again, the AVMs can cause issues, but a majority of the time they're pretty close to being spot on. But you do need to take into account you need that human touch to get you closer to a finer level. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because we have been going over, I think my last two or three posts have been talking about how important pricing is. That's not going away anytime soon. So, we need to make sure that we're looking at things properly. We need to make sure that we're using common sense when it comes to pricing homes. And we need to make sure that you're getting that human touch and not relying strictly on the AVM for determining how much your home is worth. And if an agent comes out and just tells you, oh, well, Zillow says your house is worth this, that's what I've listed at, I would really advise you to talk to another agent, and get an agent that's going to give you their perspective, um, from looking at the things in the home that the AVMs don't pick up. Okay. Now, it could be that they're correct. Again, the AVMs can be correct. It's just majority of the time they're not. And that's just from personal experience. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, like I said, they're a great place to start the conversation, but it shouldn't be the main priority or the main criteria that you use when it comes to pricing your home for the market. All right. So, again, this has been Derek Talks Real Estate. If you need to get a hold of me, have a conversation. I am licensed in North and South Carolina. I do mostly concentrate on the Charlotte market. So if you're in the Charlotte metropolitan area, if you are in York, Clover, Fort Mill, Rock Hill, Lancaster areas of South Carolina, that's where I specialize. I will do the whole western part of the state of North Carolina as long as I have access to it through my multiple listing service. And yeah, so if you need me, let's chat. You can reach me at derektalksrealestate at gmail.com. You can reach me at 704 610 1154. Give me a text. Tell me that you saw my Derek Talks Real Estate and you have a few questions. I'll be more than happy to give you a call. And like I said, if you need me, let's get together. As always, when I meet with someone, there's no pressure, just clarity. I want to answer your questions, help you figure out if we're a fit, and number two, if now is the right time for you to sell, and if so, how do we go about that process? All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Hope y'all have a great day, a great weekend. We will talk on here next week. In the meantime, look for my written blog on Substack Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And you can also follow me on Facebook at Derek Talks Real Estate. And you can follow me on Twitter at JDB is me NC. And like I said, look forward to talking to you at some point down the road. Have a good one.